I like the work of a lot of people like Manju Warrier, Sai Pallavi. I like her work. In North, I like Kangana Ranaut. I like Radhika Apte. All of these people are the women that I really look up to.
For those of us who are not very familiar with you, let's have your name and tell us a little bit about yourself.
For those who don't know me, I'm Sneha Ajith. I'm a lawyer by profession, and I've moved to India now for acting to be part of films, and I'm also a dancer. So I've done a lot of shows and still hoping to do more.
Where does your passion and ambition in cinema stem from?
So since when I was really young, I remember being extremely an ardent follower of films, and I've loved watching movies. So that's, I think, where it stemmed from initially. And my mom kind of found a flair in me, and she kind of knew that she was going to go into the arts somehow or the other. So, and then she put me to dance classes. So I think dance and watching a lot of films when I was really young kind of drew me into it. But my family was entirely, I think, academically oriented. And so they were all very, in their professional careers. And it was difficult for me in the beginning to even envision myself to be part of this industry. But thankfully, I feel like some opportunities have found me, and I've been able to find my path here, and I'm still, finding myself.
I mean, most dancers naturally, come into cinema, or, they're involved in some way. So why was it hard for you to envision yourself coming into cinema after a career in dance?
Interesting, because for as fluent as I am with my language, my mother tongue Malayalam, I can read, write, and speak very fluently. I never lived and I was never raised in Kerala. So to be part of this industry, you have to have the contacts and kind of navigate your way through it. So that was my initial, phase where I wanted to circumvent how living abroad all my life, having this passion, making my way in this field, not having the right contacts for it. So I'm navigating through that right now. So that was the initial struggle. So I'm still working my way through that and doing as many auditions as I can, and being as honest to the face the hard work and the hustle that it takes.
Is the business and networking aspect of pursuing a career as an actress more time consuming than the acting part of it?
Yes, absolutely. Because I call it the hustle before the hustle. Because everyone really, I think people are really happy when they get to hustle and when they get to do what they love the most. That is being an actor, run around, do different jobs for it, promote, and be part of different films, do the entire rut. And that's what they call the hustle. But there's a bigger hustle, a very underrated part of it that comes before you reach that stage, where you're trying to get there. And so that involves a lot of networking, a lot of building contacts, being at the right place at the right time. That's hard, and that's something you have to circumvent if you want to be an actor. And especially someone like me, because I have never, as I said, lived here, and moving to Kerala was a big step for me. And initially, I had to start from scratch all over in a different industry and in a completely different career. So that's something I found difficult initially. But then now that I've been here for a year, I know who are the right people and what's the right opportunity. How does being at the right place at the right time really help? So I am quite sure of what I want as well.
What was that moment where you were you had a moment of realization where you realized that, okay, it's calling me, this is my calling?
Yeah.
What was that moment for you?
I don't know if there was a definitive moment, because it was like an underlying suppressed thought in my mind that I didn't really let come out, because I was afraid that I might not get the opportunity. So I always knew, I think a 13-year-old me knew very well that I would someday be part of this industry. I just didn't know how and when, and I was too afraid to say it. For somebody who does not come from the background of films, or has anybody in her family who does this for a living, or is even close to it, for me to even dream of that, I was like, who knows if that'll happen? So that was always there at the back of my head. So I never voiced it, but it was always there. It was like a gut feeling that I knew that I would end up here. I just didn't know how. I always thought there'd be like one person who would bring me into this industry, and then that would be it, and I wouldn't have to worry about the rest. So there was a magical, I always thought some cosmic intervention would bring me here. But, and now that I've been here and now that I'm completely working on my craft in this industry, I've realized that it's a lot more than that. You have to work your way up as much as you possibly can. It's a different ball game. It's a completely, different field and part of the world. So yeah, that's difficult. But there was no definitive time. There was always a gut feeling in the back of my head. Even now I know that, that's what I wanted to do, and I knew it back then as well. So constant reminders of it in small, small ways, I feel, by me, and some kind of, I think if you put it out there in the universe, it somehow finds you, and people say that, so I believe in that. Maybe that's what it is.
So what was the point where you stepped into the film industry? Like, how did that happen? Yeah. Well, how did the first opportunity find you?
Interesting, yeah. So I've been a dancer all my life. So professionally doing dance shows have brought me a lot of opportunities this way. I did one called Kamala, which was a dance drama. We first performed it in Bahrain, and then we got the opportunity to do it in Surya Festival in Trivandrum, Kerala. I think that's when one of the veteran directors of Malayalam Film Industry, he saw me and he kind of scouted me for one of his projects, and that's how my first film, Kshanam, came my way. And I had to audition for it, and then I got the part. I think the dance drama that I was part of kind of depicted a lot of variations in a person's emotional, spectrum. So that kind of gave him an understanding of my craft and what all I can possibly do. Maybe that's the reason I got it. So I think I have dance to thank for that.
How different is being in front of the camera versus being on stage?
Oh my gosh. Both are a bit of a blur in my head. The time between action and cut feels the same to me as the time on stage, when I know that there's like a lot of people watching me and there's a lot of pressure. All of that gives me a sense of excitement. So I call the stage, I'm the happiest when I'm on stage. And I realized that it's the same feeling I get and the same kind of gratification I get during the time between action and cut. So it's a little bit of a blur where the focus, it's completely channelized towards this one goal that I want to meet with my performance. Ultimately it's about how I can deliver my best performance, be it as an actor or as a dancer. But being on stage and being in front of the camera for that brief period of time is it's kind of the same for me. It's just that the stage has been my friend since very young. So I'm way more familiar with that. So I hope to reach that stage with the camera as well, hopefully.
On your first day on the movie set, what's going through your mind? How are you approaching this, and what is sort of your process as an actor?
So interesting. My first day on set, I was extremely nervous, and at the same time, I'm somebody who's kind of fueled by a lot of nervous energy. I love it when that happens because my mom always says she performs under pressure, so that was great. Initially, I think my first understanding of film was very different from what a set actually works on the basis of. So when I came on set and on my first few days, I was kind of understanding how a film set works. For example, a small anecdote is that my DOP, the cameraman, used to look at me like this. And I used to always wonder, what is he looking at? Is he looking at me? Is there something wrong with me? And then I realized that he explained to me that there are about 16 to 17 things a DOP has to look at in his subject, in his frame, the lights, the shadows. So there are so many things that's going on through their minds. So what I saw was a hell lot of compassion, a hell lot of passion towards the art, and a lot of compassion towards everyone else on set. And a combination of all of that makes a good movie. So it was a learning process. So on day one, or like the first few days, accompanied, like, along with like nervousness and excitement, I was also like I was in a school. So I was kind of learning and imbibing as much as I possibly could from what a film set was. Very different for me, I think, compared to any other work environment that I'd been in. Yeah.
You worked in a corporate environment prior to a career in movies.
Yeah.
How did entering and pursuing a career in film change you as a person? How did this affect your personal life?
Yeah, interesting. When you talk about the corporate environment, we kind of work according to a schedule. So there's a time to everything. Everything, like lunch break, happens at a definitive time. We know how the rest of the day is going to go. We can kind of predict our week. So all of this just goes out of the window when it comes to films, I feel. We have no idea if we're going to actually film on the day we're on set. We don't know when lunch break is going to be. There's so much ambiguity, I feel, where people aren't really sure of what. Like an actor isn't really sure, and everyone's constantly working. So the environment was very different for me. So there was a clear culture shock for me when I moved from that industry to this. But so that way, the timeline of things was different. But it changed me because I realized how much I love being in front of the camera and being a part of a movie set. Because I realized that I was okay with the long hours. I was okay with the extra time. I was okay with not being able to sleep for a few days when you had to wake up early and then leave the set really late. So I was okay with all of that, which my body wasn't being able to do in a corporate environment as much. So it made me realize that this is possibly what is my actual calling, maybe, because I was okay with the excruciating circumstances, because there was so much passion and drive involved in making films as compared to being in a corporate environment where we know we're working for somebody else, but at the same time, the kind of that's a great opportunity and a great job as well, but to each his own, right? So I feel like this is where I found my calling. So the patience and all of that within me kind of increased.
What would you call, or how would you describe this current stage in your career? Are you an up-and-coming actress? Are you established? Yeah. What would you describe this phase?
I'm definitely an up-and-coming, actor. I'd say that because it'll take a lot more for me to establish my footing, where I'd know that I'd have a say in every little thing that kind of has to do with me. So that's ultimately the aim, right? So I am hoping to reach there. There are a few things in my bag right now I'm so grateful for, but I've been working really hard at getting those opportunities. So nothing's really fallen on my lap. So I had to work really hard to get every single little chance that I'm kind of accumulating, be it even ads or anything that I do. So I'm looking forward to a lot more. I think it's a very beginning for me in my career.
Is life as an up-and-coming actress commercially sustainable for you? And is it sustainable for you?
So that's a very interesting question, which is why I still am working as a legal advisor.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah, I am still working in a company as their legal advisor, because it gives me kind of a sense of stability. See, what I look for is that I'm here for the passion that I have towards this craft. I don't want to be doing something because I'm desperate to do it because of the money, because that's not why I came here. So I want to be in a position where I can do good projects because I want to do good projects and act in them, not because I want to do it for the money. So it's passion what's driving me here. For that to be sustainable, I have to have a plan B, and I have to have something else parallelly working for me, so I can say that I can make a few mistakes here, or I can take a step back from projects that I don't want to do and choose the right ones. So in order for me to be able to do that, I have to let go of any kind of desperation that can come in the way. I have to pay my bills, so I have to do this project, even if I don't want to do it. So I don't want to be in that position, which is why I kind of am retaining my job as a legal advisor, and I'm also following my passion here, where I'm 100% here It's not that I'm doing my 50 or 20 here and then doing that. It's not like that. I'm here, I'm present, I'm on ground. I can do as many auditions, as much as I possibly need to do. At the same time, I know that I'm not doing it out of desperation. So that's the idea.
Is your work as a model and your work in ad films also adding to that as well? Or?
Yes, for sure. That's the reason I do them as well. Because one is that, be it auditions or like ad films, all of these tiny gigs where you get to be in front of the camera modeling as well, it gives you a lot of exposure to the camera. It teaches you a lot, even if it's not a shoot that you liked. So that much experience and exposure, it adds to my craft as well. So that's one thing. And the second factor would be the sustainability part of it, the financials of it. It really helps with that as well. Yeah. And also it kind of keeps me on the limelight. It's a day and age where you have to be relevant all the time. So if you can constantly keep yourself like, you know, in the limelight by doing work, even if it's ads or like photo shoots or modeling gigs, it gives me that much.
As well?
Dance shows as well. Dance shows predominantly. That's something that's been a constant with me. So they've always given me that momentum that I need to, because we're artists, we kind of crave that kind of validation constantly. And in order to get that, we have to put that much content out there in a very hungry environment as we are in now. The atmosphere is very different from what it was like a decade ago. So we need to constantly keep like feeding our artistic, side. So kind of you have to create content as much as we can. So this helps me with that as well. So it's like in many levels helps with the experience and exposure also.
What's your process as an actress? Are you a method actor? Do you live in the role? Do you snap in and out? Do you feed off of the director? How do you perform? So
yeah, I'm still navigating through what my process is always, because it kind of changes with different roles that I do. And there are certain emotions that I need to be really prepared for, where I know that it's a deep emotion. It's something that has to come from a very deep part of me. So I need to give it as much importance as I can. And I have to take my time and do it. So I kind of prepare for it as much as I can. But there are really moments where the director wants you to be as, impromptu and as spontaneous as you can. So for the spontaneity, if I need to not prepare, I'm ready to do that as well. But I don't have a definitive, I give these many takes. I only give these, my first 2 takes are my best. I have nothing like that. I usually work with the third take is always like good for me. Second or third always works best for me, usually. So I kind of, I'm flexible that way. So I'm also learning from every single, like I said, ad and shoot and, movie that I'm doing. Every director is different. So certain people ask a few things of you. So demand a few things from the actor, from their process. So you have to take that into consideration as well. So I'm flexible that way. But more often than not, I like a little bit of preparation. If I can get the lines beforehand, I'd be more than happy. I'd like to do like 10 different variations in my head and see which one I can deliver the best, and then give them options and be like, this is what I can do. So yeah.
Tell us more about the director of your first film, sort of your part in the film and what exactly you learned from him and, drew from him.
Yeah. Okay. So the first film that I did was Shanam, and the director was Suresh Unathansa. He's delivered very many hits in Malayalam industry, and he's won a lot of state awards as well. Okay, so he's like a school to me, at least. So it was my first set. I was literally a baby on the set, trying to learn from every single person on their camera crew, the crew that takes the gear from one spot to the other. So all of them have so much more experience than me. So my director was kind of like obviously the captain of the ship. The spearheader of that movie. So he taught me one of the most important things, where when you're in that kind of a position, and if you can be that humble and also patient with your actors, beat your newcomers and all of that. So that much patience that he had, and that passion for the age and the number of films, the number of years that he's worked in this industry, I feel the passion was still as much alight as it was in the beginning for his career. So it showed me that you can do what you love and be as energetic as you are in your 20s for the rest of your life if you're doing what you love. So that's something I learned from him.
And what about your co-stars and the whole process of the film? Is there anything else that you drew from them?
Yeah, there's a lot of everything I've learned about movies and films kind of began with my first film, the experiences that I had there. So how to behave with people, how to treat your team, be it your makeup, hair crew, the production, all of them. So there's so much love that actors get, especially on set. There's so much extra consideration that we get on set. That's also something I noticed in Shea that I work in. I feel like actors are always loved. There's so much, like, if you want tea, then everything else stops and then they give to you first. So that much love that I got from them is something that really blew my mind away. Because in any other industry, I feel like it's like so mechanical. Here it was like fueled by like passion, love, and all of that for the craft and the people. So that was it.
What's next for you in your career? What are we expecting from you in the coming days?
Hopefully, really good movies. So I have a few in my kitty right now that I'm looking forward to. One that I've completed filming and that's yet to release, called Anakendina Keda, in which I'm playing a Muslim character called Shahina. That's interesting because I shot that and filmed it in Kozhikode, a place where I've never lived and have never really been to. So it was for the filming of this movie that I had first seen Kozhikode. So that was a new experience for me, and playing a Muslim character is something I had not done before. So I'm excited for people to see me in that avatar. And the second thing is I have a few projects that I'm yet to shoot now, some big projects as well, hopefully. And so once I'm in a safe position to announce them, and which will be really soon, I'll do so. And I really hope people like me in those different kind of roles, trying to be as diverse as I can with my picks. So nothing gets monotonous, because that's what you'd really not like for people to be. So I would like to do something different every time I get an opportunity.
Is your next release meant to be sort of light-hearted and, easy-going film?
So yeah, contrary to my first film, which was a little heavy because it was like a horror thriller, this one's very like a suburban story of a very Natambrate Kadha. We say that because it's like a small town story. So it's relatable to everybody because it kind of connects people with emotion more than the dialect, the place and everything. So it's the emotion that kind of transcends. So that way it's a very good heartland story, I feel. And I'm playing a very different character, a very cute, bubbly character that I haven't had the opportunity to play before. So that's there. And I'm doing a movie in which I have what is coming up is a kind of more of an action-oriented role. So I'm excited for that, something I've really wanted to do all my life. So hopefully I get to do that soon.
So on social media, you're pretty active and you do a lot of dance videos, which, naturally you're a performer, which you do. And then off late, you've been doing, we've seen you in the gym, we've seen you doing some action sequences. You look like you're about to kill somebody. Is this in preparation for the next film? And what's that process like for you?
So I think I started training in as Muay Thai and boxing in 2016 or 17, and then I started with Kalari Paita in 2018 or 17 or something like that. I think it stemmed from one question that my dad asked me when I was left in university. Like he was dropping me off and he came back. He was like, what if a few people come your way and like you are attacked and you don't know what to do and how to react, and what would you do? So I wanted to always be prepared for something like that. So that's when I started training for any kind of martial art form that I wanted to continue all my life. So I think that's where it stemmed from in my mind, where I wanted to do something action oriented in like films if I possibly could. So there's been an opportunity that's come my way. I'm very excited to talk about it more once we finish filming of it. So once it's safe to talk about the film, I will reveal more. But yes, in the past few days, I've been preparing for that character. And also, it just is the happiest place for me when I get to play or do MMA of any kind, be it Kaladi or like boxing and Muay Thai. It gives me a lot of empowerment and a lot of mental strength also. So I really enjoy doing that. So that's one of the primary reasons to do it.
So what's the next 5 years in the future looking like for you? What are your goals, milestones you'd like to achieve?
That's crazy because I have no idea what's going to happen. I love that I don't know. So if I knew what was going to happen exactly in the next 5 years, so like what I aim at, and like if I don't get there, then that's it. I don't have any such extreme, requirements from myself. I'm going to go with the flow and try as much as each day at a time. So 5 years, but then the mini goals is what I'm kind of focusing on. Each day at a time, not missing any opportunity to even audition, be as present in the kind of works that I do, be there at the right time, and always be punctual and be disciplined. These are things I kind of focus on. So every day is what I count more than what I'll do in the 5 years. So I'm sure that all of these drills that I do on the daily kind of will get me to a bigger, better place, because that's the idea anyway. So hopefully good films, better films, big films that I can be part of, where I feel like all that I've practiced, all that I've kind of worked towards my entire life can be put to use. So such opportunities, hoping for that in the future.
Do you have any suggestions, recommendations for anybody looking to pursue a career in cinema?
Yes. I think the suggestion that I'd have for everyone, or like something like my 2 cents on it, would be to like start young, start as early as you possibly can. Go meet the right people, even if you get a lot of no's. I know the biggest jitter, I think, in the minds of people who want to start out in this industry is that I don't know how to go approach people and ask for work, because it's not something we do in the corporate environment at all. We kind of have resumes, we get like rejection letters, or we get acceptance letters, and we know what's going to happen. But then this a sense of going and asking for work is something people are inherently kind of adverse to. I feel like, don't feel that way. Keep those inhibitions aside and like go at it. Go ask for work if you want to, and like meet as many people as you possibly can, and get out there, get on the road and do your thing. Kind of, it took me initially. I felt that way as well, where I didn't know how to go and ask for work. Like, why would I have to do that after doing like my LLB, my LLM, having jobs? Why would I have to go and ask for work in another industry? It was like a big thing that I had to circumvent. But now that I'm here, I know that's the only way out. So auditions, do the drill, take the rejections, but it's still an experience. Every experience counts, and no amount of hard work will go to waste. So whatever it is that you're working towards, if you don't reap the benefits of it then and there, you will definitely get what it kind of owes you later in life. Some way or the other, it'll circle back to you. So do the drill and meet as many people as you can. Keep those inhibitions aside. That's all I'd like to say.
Anybody you have to mention in terms of who you look up to and who you'd like to craft your career after?
Oh gosh, there are so many people. Like everyone in the current day and age who have projects in their kitty, I think they are working. They are good, because getting the projects is like it's a big deal in itself. Okay, so I respect each and every actor that has a bag full of projects, or like have done a lot of work. So all of them, I don't have this one person that I look up to, other than my parents, of course. Those are the 2 people that kind of, but then everyone else, there's something to imbibe from and admire about and get inspired from everyone. Like, so I take bits from every single actor, but there are many in South India. I feel like I like the work of a lot of people like Manju Warrier, Sai Pallavi. I like her work. In North, I like Kangana Ranaut. I like Radhika Apte. All of these people are the women that I really look up to. And men, many of them as well. So we know that our path for, I think, a female actor, we always look for a good female actor to kind of look up to. So all of these people I really enjoy watching. And yeah, the way they conduct themselves as well.
Anything we may have missed that you'd like to say to the audience, your fans?
No, I think I'm just looking forward to the next phase of my career in this industry, and I'd hope for everyone to like support me and like watch my work if it's releasing, and be part of my journey, because in this industry we'd like for a lot of people to love our work and like give us that sort of validation, because that's what we kind of feed off of. So I hope people like my work and like the things that I'm working towards, kind of trying to do everything at the same time. So hope that's like accepted by people. Hi everyone, this is Sneha, Ajith. I hope you all liked the interview that I've done with Nadai Mide. Please do subscribe to their channel and watch their interviews and everything else that they'll produce and put out for you guys.